Another day in crypto, another dump yesterday, another pump in BTC. Things are mad out there, but it's fun. And BTC is now pushing to interesting levels. We've had some alts bouncing off some great support. And why is everybody so bearish? Is it time to be bearish, or is the bottom in now after that bullish CPI news? Guys, we've got so much to talk about here. I mean, a couple of longs. There's a few things that seem to be firing. Maybe we're going to have a green weekend. Let's get right into this. And remember, if you are enjoying Sideshow Bob over here, hit the likes, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. I mean, the guy's got, I don't know what's going on here, bro. Better Bubbles is looking... But it's looking like a mixed bag. But I must say, earlier today, these things were falling over. They were completely falling over. And now we're getting some kind of relief rally. Is it going to turn into something more notable? Is Solana's had a nice bounce after stopping me out yesterday, but it's at the 200-day MA. Is it time to short this thing, or is it time to take profit? So we're going to be looking at that. Remember, a lot of these alts are now pushing into resistance zones. And look at this, Pulse X has come alive again. And Stacks had a nice little bit of news behind it today. And that thing is starting to run, and I see Bonk minus 8.6. There might be a little bounce play here on Bonk, and Pepe's got a massive green candle at the moment, and interesting to show that it's still 4% down. So there's a lot going on here. Let's look at the current situation. And BTC on the 1 hour today, I've just condensed this a little bit for you guys, and you can see what's happening here. We've dropped into that 618 yesterday. We've dropped nicely into that little 618 zone, 56,680, looking nice. Good little support for us. And now in the last couple of hours, things have turned a little bit more bullish. We had bearish PPI news come out, but the market is pumping. Yesterday, we had bullish CPI news come out. What happened? The market dumped. So nobody knows what is going on anyway. And right now, what I would say here, BTC, we're watching 57,400. This is your big one now today. This is what you want to see hold in the next, say, in the next 12 hours. You want this to hold. Okay, if we start losing 57,400, then we're resetting this whole pump. And all these alt moves that you've just seen, they're going to reset. They're going to go back to their level. So watching 57,400, we don't really want to lose that. And then I've highlighted some resistance bands for you guys. TP zones, 58,460. So if we push into that area, 58,460, we're going to be watching that. Look for a little rejection over here, and then a little bit higher. You know the drill. 200-day MA, 58,900. That is a big one for us. That is going to be a tough one to break through. And then a little bit higher, we've got 59.5. So that is what I'm watching now in the next, say, 12 hours. This is what I want to see hold leading into this weekend. Then obviously anything can happen after that. But that is the current play. And then here's my current situation. And I am long ETH at the moment. I got stopped out on Solana yesterday. That was a bitter pill to swallow. Another round trip there, tick. And you can see I've got a little scalpy long BTC here. A little bit suspicious because I'm quite late on it. At the moment, you can see I was a late bloomer there, and I'm going to be part of that liquidation map that I'm going to show you now, who's just opened longs a little bit late. So let's see how that goes. In fact, I'm going to move my stop to just under my entry here. Don't want to give away free stuff. So we're going to put that over there. And if we do pull back, then it's a tiny little loss. And then I've got this disease at the moment. It's called shorting ADA. And it's the worst disease to have, because ADA is the best performer in the last say 24 hours. This thing is held. I shorted this thing yesterday. The entire market fell over on us, and I was sitting there licking my lips waiting for ADA to drop, and it just stayed there, and it stayed there, and it stayed there. Everything else fell over. The stack short printed, all that stuff, and ADA just sat there, and they've eventually pumped through, and they stopped me outside another go. It's offensive. It's properly offensive, Raymond. I mean, Sideshow Bob, what's going on? So that is my current bag of tricks on Prime XBT, and yeah, we'll see how that goes during the course of the next hour or so. Let's see how that plays out. Now, I wanted to show you guys something interesting. It's kind of crypto related, but it's kind of not. But it's kind of relevant in its own special way. So let's just pull this thing up quickly here. And Ray, you're just gonna have to confirm if you can hear the sound, because I am running a poll in the chats, guys. I need to know. Will you answer that poll in the chat for me?
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
So I mean,
I wouldn't have. pick Vice President Trump to be vice president.
Vice President Trump, did you see this, bro? Vice President Trump up in the House, and it's it's President Putin from the Ukraine. The wheels are coming off. But you know what that tells me? That tells me there's good action here on some of these meme coins, and we need to pay attention on those political meme coins. So Joe Biden calling Kamala Harris Vice President Trump, and I mean, she's pretty hot. She's quite sexy, and things are looking good there. Let's see how we're going in the poll at the moment. Let's see. You guys are saying President Putin from Ukraine is quite hot, 31%. Vice President Trump, 27%. Joe Biden, 36% of you are loving ADA. Okay, well, I'm loving this Vice President Trump at the moment. And just obviously, when we get some Trump news, you immediately have to just check on the meme situation. Here is MAGA. You have to, bro. This is why it's so relevant. And MAGA holding support. Okay, so MAGA's holding support well there on the latest gaffes from the president. And I've got DTI also sitting in a nice little zone. You can see we've been sitting on this area since the 21st of June. Okay, so that is 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks we're holding, and not too bad. So multiple zeros here, 8-0 for me. Nice little support for DTI. Looking for that thing, obviously, to launch for us when we get a little bit more narratives going on there with the presidents. Okay, Fear and Greed, 25. Did you think it could go lower? At 29, I thought, geez, we're pretty much at the bottom here. I actually didn't think we could go much lower than that. And here we are, 25. Can this thing go lower? And well, if BTC starts falling over this weekend, I suspect this thing is going to go sub 20. And that could present, just using this as only your guide, that could present the most ridiculous buying opportunity for BTC. There's going to be ultimate fear in the market, and that could be a trade. So look out for this thing. If this thing dips sub 20, things are going to get very spicy. And the Germans are nearly done. Okay, we are nearly done talking about the Germans. I promised you guys yesterday that I was ending this relationship talking about the Germans, and they've got 9.9% left. Okay, so these guys have been selling these clips. They obviously offloaded a bit more today, and you would have seen that in that little dump there yesterday, and whatever. Maybe they're selling into some strength here, but they're nearly done. Okay, we're nearly finished. And while they're selling the bottom, El Salvador is busy buying the bottom of BTC. Okay, so you tell me who's going to win this race in the next, say, 20 years. I don't know. I think it makes sense. Just Zolani, what's going on here, bro? Okay, let's get on with this. S&P. So this is what's happened in the market. Now, I showed you that JP Morgan prediction, and their analyst came out yesterday, and they said if there's a bullish CPI, well, the S&P is going to pump 1.5% or whatever that is. Obviously, the S&P dumped 1% or whatever. Basically telling you once again that even the most highly paid analysts and professionals in the world know nothing. Okay, and the CPI news was bullish. Now today, PPI news comes out bearish, and look what happens. S&P pumping. Okay, so nobody knows what's going on, including the man on the couch watching this, the man eating lunch watching this show, and it's crazy out there. If you're feeling a little bit confused, basically everybody is a little bit confused, and this is why I said I wasn't going to short this moving freight train yesterday. I was too scared to short the S&P, but we're going to still wait. At some point, we're going to get our longs in our little basket there. We're going to let this thing fall over. Eventually, it's going to fall over. But right now, 5,760, that is the S&P target. And looks like we are going to hit all-time highs today if things carry on going this way. Now, let's just reset this liquidation map. I just want to see exactly where we are at this exact moment in time, and you can see now we got a couple of clusters here. Now the shorts are slowly getting rinsed out here, and you can see the longs are loading up. You can see this little orange band here. This is most likely partly some of my trade, my little late long there at what is it, 57,800 or whatever, that sort of region there. That might they might come and just wick me out there. That's why I've raised my stop on that BTC long, but things are looking good here, up to about 59,600. Looks like a nice little juicy zone here for us, and that would tie in really nicely with those highs that I've just shown you on the 1 hour, and then lower down, this thing can get messy down to about 55K, 55,100. Let's just see what that looks like on the charts. Well, we don't even go that deep yet at the moment. So my deepest level that I have here is 55,800, and that is our 786 fib. So let's watch that region, and that would involve then taking out most of this liquidation zone, most of these late longers here and things like that. But wouldn't it be pleasant if we just get this little push up now to 60K. That could be proper fun. We could definitely have a good time. And maybe we can get the wives some new handbags there if these trades start playing out for us, and make back some of those stops from yesterday. Okay, where have you seen this? You've seen the Wyckoff distribution situation before, and now Mustache, he's obviously the ultimate bull, this man, but he's given you his own version. Okay, there's another version now of this. Was that potentially the bottom? And again, if this is going to play out, I know Bruce is watching this as well. He loves some Wyckoff action, and we're looking at pump time. So we just want to start reclaiming that 60K. We want to start reclaiming that 200-day MA. Then we can start making our way a little bit higher and enjoy the ride. We'll enjoy the rest of the ride. And this is what it looks like on the daily at the moment. So nothing really has changed since yesterday. We got our big rejection here, 59,850. That was our previous major support. And we knew that. And I mean, that was support for a hell of a long time there. Eventually, we lost it. And what does that mean? If you lose major support, the first time you come back, you most likely reject. That's normally an easy short play. The second time, probably another easy short play. And you can see we had that rejection yesterday. And the third time, well, then it starts becoming anybody's guess as to what is going to happen there. So let's see. If we start pumping higher, we start liquidating a couple of people, we start getting a little squeeze, then it's on for me. Then we're going to get some action. But right now, under the 200-day MA, we remain bearish. Under the daily trend, we remain bearish. Under 59,850, we remain bearish. And we, as in me and my bullish hat that I'm currently wearing. Ray, how's that tea, bro? How's it going? It's Friday, guys. Come on. It's Friday.
Treat the like button like Michael Jackson. Just be
there. We go. Okay, dominance looking nice in a nice little downtrend here on the 12-hour. We're ticking lower, and right, you know the story. If dominance is pumping and BTC is moving up, that's okay. We're not too stressed about that. And the issue comes with dominance pumping and Bitcoin dumping. So just make sure you're watching your charts, you're watching your altcoins, and you understand the picture. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, basically, Bitcoin dominance shows us if the alts are getting favored or if Bitcoin is getting favored. And just in simple terms, dominance pumping is bad for altcoins. Dominance dumping is great for altcoins. They tend to hold their levels, or it means the altcoins are pumping up. So that is something to watch. Keep your eyes on that one at all times. And then something I don't talk about that often, and we should actually cover this a little bit more, is Mustache again. Now, this guy is the ultimate bull. Okay, so we know that. But what he's telling us here, he's giving us the USDT dominance chart, and he's saying this is a perfect bearish retest, okay? So basically what's happened here is dominance on the US dollar, USDT, has pushed up. What do they mean? They're moving money out of crypto into USDT. Now it's potentially rejecting. Okay, and this is now rejecting a major trend. So that could be a very positive sign for the market as a whole. So there's not Bitcoin dominance, it's USDT dominant. And that could mean that a lot more money is going to be flowing into some of these altcoins. Now, let's start with a big dog, ETH. And again, this thing is like absolute clockwork lately. And ETH on the 4-hour, it's still floating around this 200-day MA. This is our big level. This is critical, I would say, for the alt market. It's critical for the market in general that ETH starts pushing through this 200-day MA, because people are losing interest. As long as we're under these levels, the things are choppy and there's lots of pain and suffering. So good to see ETH having another crack here at the 200-day MA. So 3,116, big little level here. And support held again. It held strong on that pullback yesterday. Look at this, 3,065 down to 3,045. This region held really well. Those of you that held on these regions, well done. And that's diamond hand leverage traders right there, if you guys held on that little dip. So that is looking good at the moment. Upside targets for ETH this weekend. If we do get a pump here, careful again, 3,200. You can see what happened last time we visited. We had a hard rejection. So look out here, 3,200. You might want to raise your stops. You might want to take something off the table. If we do clear this region, bang, we're looking at 3,500. And I would suspect that would happen relatively quickly. Once we pop that 200-day and the market starts agreeing and the whole of Twitter starts lighting up because everybody is going to be talking about the 200-day MA getting broken, I think there's going to be a little bit of an acceleration there. And we're going to see a little bit more action in general in the alt markets. Okay, now here is a question, and I'm posing this to everybody. It's a tricky one because Solana lost trend, okay? It stopped me out. And now I'm back in a sol trade. I'm going to explain to you how I'm doing it or what I'm playing. And now it's pushing back on its first test into major resistance. The 200-day MA the 382, and the trend. And I want to flip this thing over for you guys, and just to give you a perspective here. Okay, if we were looking for longs, what would we be looking at right now? We'd have a break of this trend. We'd say wait for the retest, look for the retest, ape in over here, and then send sold. Okay, so that is option number one. Now, obviously, these setups, as you know, can be fake outs if they're not working out, and they can obviously not work out. But typically, that is a type of setup that we generally look for if we're looking for long. Then if I flip this thing back over, now you understand why I'm saying Sol is potentially a little bit bearish here. So if anything, we're moving into now a TP zone, a TP danger zone here for you guys. So how do we become bullish now on Solana? Well, very simple play here. If you are bearish, you are moving into your short zone and you want to have a crack, this is your area that you can take a look. Where do you become bullish? We need to now break through here. We need to hold this 200-day MA. We want to reclaim this 200-day MA so we can call it a fake out to the downside, and we want to reclaim that trend. Once we reclaim that trend, it's all on again for Sol, and we are cooking again. So just exercise caution here. With Sol, we are at a resistance zone. So if you didn't grab it, lower down on the 618, 135, this sort of level, we are now at resistance. Just be super careful. When we start breaking that 200-day MA, maybe you can start having a look, dial into the 15 minutes, look for your supports in those zones. And then if we start reclaiming that trend, then I would say it's on again for Sol. And we've got a nice little target here in play for you guys. And that is going to be the 50-day MA and the 100-day MA. And we're looking at around about 150 to 152. So that is what I'd want to see if this move is going to hold. If it rejects, I've given you the targets. Okay. If it rejects here, 128, 122. Ray, bullish or bearish?
I mean, this definitely looks like bearish.
Ray's bearish, folks. Okay, he's called it. Ray, if you're bearish, you must open the short. Okay, let me show you what I've done. Yesterday, I gave you guys a link trade that I took on BitFunded. Okay, that is now that new platform where you can send $100. They give you $10,000 demo account. Okay, if you pass the test number one, 8% on the first trade or the first group of trades with a maximum drawdown, I think it was 5%. I'm going to show you now. Then test number two is another 5% gain. If you do that, they give you $10,000 that you can trade with. And all it has is cost you $100. Now, I gave you that link trade and I got stopped out on that one yesterday. So I took a hit on that account, but now I've gone long Sol again. And here's the current situation. So yeah, you can see in BitFunded, stage one. I'm in stage one. You've got minimum trading days, 5 days. And you can see what they're telling you to do. I need to make $800 on the first to clear stage one. Then I need to make $500 on stage two. Then they're giving me $10,000 to play with. So I'm busy in that challenge right now. And I'm sitting in a Sol long. So this was my make trade. So link got stopped. I did about $500 loss on that one. And now we're 1,066 up on Solana. So I just want to see how this is going to play out. I'm hoping if we can just crack through this 200-day, I'm just going to TP a little bit higher. I want to just try and clear this $800 quickly and then move on to stage two. So we are nearly there. And there is a link in the description for BitFunded. There's a bit of a process that you have to go through there. There's 2 link clicks here for you guys. So go to BitFunded here. You click the first one, you register. Okay, then you have to click on the referral code to buy the package that they are giving you. It's $99. Okay, so register, then click on that second link, BitFunded there under the show. That will give you access to this platform. So it's another way of leverage trading. In effect, you're paying $100. If you're good enough, you pass the test, you get a $10,000 account, you keep 80% of the profit, they take 20% of the profit. It's as simple as that. And yeah, let's see if I can pass that test. And here's the Phantom setup. Who got Phantom? Yesterday, I gave you guys this entry. And remember, this was like a fine wine. We had to wait and wait and wait and be patient. And they finally came this morning and delivered. And it's just another sign again for the strength and the power of a 382. Look at that little 382 coming into play here. How long did we wait for this entry on Phantom? And I've been laddering into a Phantom position. So this thing is now starting to move for me. And we're not out of the woods yet. We've got some work to do, but it's a good start. Okay, that we got a little bounce there off that 382 for Phantom.
Got a lot of work there. Got a lot of work.
we got a lot of work to do here, but it was a lot of work waiting for that entry. And fastest fingers first on that 382. And now we've got big support here that you're going to be watching. Phantom 0.45. That is big support that we're watching now. This was reaction zone number 1. This was the area of interest. So the game plan here yesterday was a little bounce in the zone, then potentially a rejection, and then the next bounce in that area. And we were looking for some kind of trend play in that region. Obviously, if things naturally now turn super bullish, we might see this trend get taken out. So the first move, or the first thing you want to see, you just want to see these highs get taken out here on Phantom, and then a little retest. And that retest then could give you your ticket to these TP zones. So we're looking for something like that for our next play now on Phantom. So if you didn't get the lows that I gave you yesterday, and I gave you the day before, and I gave you the day before, if you didn't get these lows at 0.45, okay, now we got to let this trend break. You're looking for this pop here in this area. You want to see if it holds that retest. Then our target is going to be 0.53. That is what we've been watching, the 0.53. And remember, I mean, this is stuff we don't really have to talk about now because we'll deal with it when we get there. But if things turn ultra bullish, there's a massive short coming on Phantom, in my opinion, 0.62. I think we're going to get something nice up here. It's the 200-day MA. It's the 50-day MA. And remember, the 50-day MA crossing over the 200-day MA is actually called a death cross. And often in the past, if you back test this, you will note maybe half the time or even more, we get a massive pump into a death cross before there's a big rejection. And I've seen this happen multiple times now, over the years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a big pump here into the death cross and then that big rejection. So look out, something fun could be playing out here on Phantom, but I think it's going to be a great short because that's going to be a huge area for Phantom to clear. It's not going to be an easy ride for Phantom to break 0.6. Geez, do you remember the other day it was $1 or something, Phantom? That thing was absolutely cooking. Okay, stacks. Let's see how we're going now. I was in a stacks trade earlier. Hopefully this thing hasn't turned over, but let's see. There's big news on stacks. That's why there has been a little bit of pumpage. And we've just seen that the SEC have dropped their charges against the stacks dev or the stacks man, and that has obviously given this thing a little bit of a bullish push here. And now if you want to see what happened here yesterday, what did we get? We got our 382 coming into play again. Look at that, 382, bang. And now we're getting a nice little move off that 382. And this was in our bounce zone yesterday, and this was a TP zone earlier today. We took this on the Sniper Club Live. We TP'd here at 1.54, give or take, in that area. And now little stacks push, and if you are trading stacks, you can see it's a very clean target that we're looking for at the moment, and we're looking for 1.8. okay, so that's just a little visit to the 50-day moving average, a little visit to these horizontals. So we're not trying to get too greedy here. We're just looking for a touch here at this range high, and that will be a great little TP zone there for stacks traders. So let's see how this one is looking at the moment. Okay, we have had a little reversal, and this stacks has now turned a little bit green. So I'm trading stacks on ZoomX. You guys will remember ZoomX because this has got the To The Moon game as well that me and Ray like to play a little bit. And they've also got great sign-up incentives for you guys. So you can trade this one with me on ZoomX. Nice little platform. You can see how you can chart on it as well, going quite nicely there. And then I've got a setup for you guys of interest. The next one is Toncoin. Okay, so this one hasn't been, it hasn't been as bouncy, but it hasn't turned over the way some of these alts have absolutely melted down. And Ton was one of the few tokens that was holding through this entire dump, other than ADA. I can't believe it. But here's Toncoin now, sitting on a very good region here for me. And I wanted to highlight this for you guys. We've got the 50-day MA as support, number 1, and this is at 7.2. 50-day MA support, 7.2. We've got the 382 fib as well. You've seen a reaction now on multiple tokens that I've just shown you off that 382. And now we've got horizontals as well in play. You can see big resistance here, big support, big resistance. Now it's acting as support again. Is this a launch pad for Ton? Well, it's going to cost you about 1.5% risk to find out. Okay, it's that simple. And if it's going to bounce here, that is your risk play. 1.5%. You lose these lows, then you jump out of the situation. So I'm sitting in a Ton position as well, and just not looking for anything serious. A little 10% move. If things turn bullish, I'm looking for 8 as my potential target here. So that is what I'm looking out for at the moment. Easy risk play here, easy invalidation. Close under that 50-day MA. I'm jumping out of this thing. I'm not going to hang around. So we'll let the market do what it wants to do after that. Okay. this thing is going to kill me. Okay, here's ADA. And I actually tried to get the ADA girls on my show. I messaged them today, and they actually didn't respond. But we got to get the ADA girls on the show, please. I've actually got to pull up their Twitter. There's some hilarious videos going on.
What about the Celestia girls? Is there Celestia girls?
Guys, can somebody find out, are there Celestia girls anywhere? We need them on the show. We need to talk to them. I mean, the ADA girls, you have to actually get them back on the show. I actually messaged her and I said to her today, do you want to come on the show and tell me why I'm such an idiot for trying to short ADA, and come and tell me why this thing is pumping? And I'm waiting for her to actually reply and read the message. So hopefully they'll be back on the show at some point. But here is the situation for ADA. Okay, big resistance zone right here. Okay, we've got horizontals in play. We've got the 50-day MA in play. Okay, so we know that this is information we all have, but this is what's interesting about this. And now I saw someone in the chats telling me there was a hard fork or something going on here on ADA, and maybe that is why there's a little bit of bullish news here with ADA. But look what's going on here. If we crack this 50-day MA, as much as I don't want to say it, I think there's going to be a long here, and I think there's going to be a nice long. I think there's going to be about a 20% move. So what I'm looking at, okay, little pop, 50-day MA. Okay, that little retest, whatever that looks like, on the 15 minutes, on the 1 hour, or whatever, you're looking for that retest there in that region. And it's going to tie in with a retest of some support. It's going to tie in with that retest of the 50-day MA. There might be a sneaky long here. And this thing can take us to the 200-day moving average. So let's see. Maybe they'll forgive me for all these years of teasing the ADA holders. If we give them a 23% trade. Okay, so... you think they will? I suspect.
23%.
So there's a 20% trade here. You run this thing on 10x leverage. It's 200%. You wave your P&L at the ADA girls. You'll go viral. You'll absolutely go viral on X. And yeah, they'll make a star out of you. So guys, there's a trade coming on ADA. Okay, break the 50-day MA, and I would say there's a potential move on here. Okay, right now you're at risk. Okay, you are at resistance, so look out. You are at a resistance band, so you're not out of the woods until you start blowing that 50-day MA. But what I like here, I've got a trend as well. You can see we're trying to break this trend, looking interesting. If you want to nibble around at an ADA position, okay, and I'm talking nibbling like a burner position, 0.393 is some support you can play with. So you want to play around a small little area. If it starts popping the 50-day, maybe add a little bit more. Look for that little retest. If that retest holds, then I would say you guys are on. Pickle says, will I get, what did Pickle say? Will I get ADA girl if 200%? Guys, it depends on the size of your trade. Okay, if you take a massive trade at 200%, maybe you will get an ADA girl. I
have some size for some ADA girls. I have size for them.
Wait, we're gonna find them. Wait, hold on. I wanna pull this up, Ray. Let me pull this up. Let me show you what's going on here. Okay, here. So here's the Cardano gold. Well, there was one guy. Yeah, this is them. Okay, so you need to get them on. If this thing starts pumping through the 50-day MA, we're getting the girls back. They're going to tell us all these things that they are dealing with, DeFi and all their Cardano meme coins and all those things. And they're going to come and tell us exactly what is going on ADA and all these things. So let's just get that trade going. You know, obviously I'm still short ADA. We won't be, if the short plays out, I don't know if they're going to jump on that. I don't know if they're going to come. Let's see. No, I've been stopped out. Okay, no, these ADA girls, they're going to love this. I'm going to become a meme on the internet. I've been stopped out on ADA shorts twice. Okay, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Okay, my next trade on ADA is going to be a long. I'm looking for a long here. I'm going to make this thing work. We're going to make it work. Okay, here's another one for you guys. Tao. So again, it's not perfect. You can see there's a little bit of weakness here for Tao, but we did take a long on Sniper Club earlier today off this region. It's a 382 at 241. So it's looking interesting. Put it that way. We can see render pumping as well. We're going to look at render shortly. The Tao has drifted here onto a 382 at 240. It's drifted onto these horizontals, and it's a zone of interest. Okay, so a bullish market, I would say this thing starts churning higher, and then there'll be some catalyst, and then it will pump. But what I'm watching here, support. I'm watching the lows. 238. And then I've also got this 50 MA on the 4 hour. Okay, and that's at 236. Okay, so watch that level. Look for a little wick, even a little wick into that region. 236 could be a nice little zone of interest here for you. For Tao, we have seen a big bullish move before. Perfectly normal. Have a little retest. You saw the retest on stacks. You saw the retest on these other tokens that I've shown you. So 382, it's a zone of interest. And we are sitting in a Tao long here on CoinCatch. We got that entry on the Sniper Club Live. I laddered into the entry. We had our entry, first entry a little bit higher up. Then we had another entry lower down at this region over here. And then we picked up both entries. So we're going to see that it's a very tight stop here underneath the lows. So if I lose these lows, then I'm jumping out. I'm going to have a nice, pleasant weekend. But this is happening on CoinCatch at the moment. So you can trade this one on CoinCatch. Also, guys, everything is in the description here that I'm showing you. And remember, I show you all these exchanges. I trade on all these exchanges. But remember, if you're using these exchanges on my show links, you're actually supporting my work. You're supporting the content, that everything that I do for you guys. I get support out of you guys signing up to those exchanges. So if you're trading, have a go on one of these exchanges that I use and support the free content that I keep sending you guys. I've got the twins. I've got WIF and I've got Bonk and I've got Peppy coming and I've got Render for you guys. So one of our traders in Sniper Club only trades WIF. And this is often the topic of conversation in our live sessions. And here is WIF right now. So it's looking pretty interesting. We've revisited the lows. This is WIF on the 8 hour. And we've had a nice little bounce. So you've got major support in play here for WIF at 1.5. This is the 8 hour chart that I'm watching at the moment. And things are slowly grinding up. But what is interesting here is we do have a slight problem up there, okay? So we need things to get a little bit more bullish, just like you've seen ADA at resistance, just like you've seen these other tokens sitting at resistance, Sol at the 200-day MA, you've got WIF sitting at a resistance band. So there is a risk that this thing can actually start falling over. So watch out here in this region. There is a risk that you can reject in this area, okay? So you're going to have your eyes on BTC here. But what I would think would happen here, if Sol blows that 200-day MA, I think there's going to be a little bit more energy on things like WIF and Bonk coming into play. And we're going to see this little horizontal broken. Now, remember, when we break a trend, people get interested, okay? The leverage traders get super excited. And we might start getting a little bit of action here on WIF. So I think if you can just hang on here, let this thing break 1.6. And the exact same principle that we're looking at with ADA as well. If you break that 1.6, then you might have a trade on here for WIF. And it's not going to be anything big. You're just looking for that 13% move here. If we can just crack through this resistance. So let it pop through. Then you want to look 15 minutes, 1 hour. You want to see what type of support is developing in that area. And if it starts holding, then maybe it's worth having a little sniff. You want to run quite a tight stop there, leverage traders. And you're looking at about 2 to 3%, I would say, is probably a safe-ish play as a stop. And then spot traders, look, easier game for you. You're looking at about a 7% or so from here. Once it starts breaking that trend, that's an easy game. And then you're going to aim, obviously, you want to naturally aim slightly higher there. You want a decent risk-reward ratio there. But what I would watch here, let's get 1.6 in play. Let's break that 1.6, and then we can start sniffing around there. I see the guys talking about 𝗲𝗼𝗚. Guys, I actually haven't forgotten about 𝗲𝗼𝗚. Okay, 𝗲𝗼𝗚, it's like one of the OG cats, 𝗲𝗼𝗚 and 𝗲𝗏𝗏. Those were some big trades that we had a couple of months back when the ETH memes and the cats were all flying. And I suspect they will have their time in the sun again. So you saw I bought some 𝗲𝗏𝗏 the other day, and I already own some 𝗲𝗼𝗚, but maybe it's time to add on my Starbot here. We can get a little bit of 𝗲𝗼𝗚 going on as well. I'll put that in my portfolio there for you guys because I actually think it's a good play. Let's see what else we got. Who's Crypto Cloud says the Uncle Charles Bones coming alive part gets me. What is he talking about? Okay, let's see.
Cardano, Charles Hutchinson, whatever.
Charles Hoskinson. Okay, guys, here's something that really got me excited today, okay? And this might be an opportunity brewing here for us. This is Bonk, okay? This is Bonk on the 8 hour, and it didn't quite hit my area, but I suspect if we do get an opportunity, I think it could come alive. Now, we had a first zone on Bonk, okay? And I actually missed that pullback. We had a 382. It was somewhere in this region here, and it actually hovered around there and it lost that zone. But I missed that opportunity. But I think there's another opportunity coming here for Bonk, and I think it could be a big one. And it's going to be a test of this 200-day moving average. So multiple zeros, 2177 is what I'm looking at here. I see Past in Focus is looking for bonk. Here's bonk, bro. And 200-day MA, okay, is what I love here. Multiple zeros, 2177, looking for a bounce in this region here. And I think if we can get a nice bounce off the zone, market relatively bullish, then we should see bonk give us about a 24%. And that's to the 50-day MA. That's to the range high as well. So that looks interesting for me. So anything down into that region there, you can see I've highlighted it here. I've also got my alarm on, and I've set my trading view alarm here. You can see this alarm here I've put in place. And if it does obviously hit now while I'm in front of the screen, we're not going to miss this one. We don't want to miss the boat on this guy. And then how's this little pumper? Peppy. Okay, now we just front ran our entry zone. So earlier today, I was looking at Peppy on the 4 hour for Sniper Club, and I gave a little area, a little lower down. But this little guy jumped in here and front ran the whole area. So we've missed this whole move, unfortunately. But I do have a setup for you guys that you can try and sculpt this thing on smaller time frames. So just a bigger picture, you can see what's going on. Peppy on the 4 hour, just looking for that push to range high. Okay, so it's a 19% move that we were looking for in that respect. Not exactly, not exactly a straight up burning candle. You're looking for a little bit of a move up there. It could take a couple of days for this thing to play out. But then I have zoomed in for you guys just to give the scalpers and the DGens something to work with here this weekend. So this is the 15 minutes, and you can see, so that exact chart that I've given you now, I've dialed in. And what we are looking for now is this horizontal support to hold. So it's essentially what I've shown you on those higher time frame charts, the ADA chart, all these types of things. We want to see the horizontal break, and then we want to see this horizontal hold. If that horizontal holds, then you tend to get that push up to the next level. So this is an example that I wanted to use. So you can see we've broken the area, and now we have had our first retest of the support. So I just want to give you guys something to work with here. I'm going to pull a fib from the low to the high. Now, obviously, guys, we're doing 15-minute candles. It gets a little bit more degen. Your risk starts increasing. And just really, guys, play your risk accordingly. Remember, some of these best entries are gotten when things are red, when the market is bearish, when you're not liking crypto. Those are your best entries, the ones we got earlier today, 3-4 hours ago, when you were screaming and you didn't want to do anything. Those are the entries on good support levels. Now, when the market's pumping...
Hold on. What about the entries on the likes? Can we see what the entries on the likes are?
If I was watching the show and I saw you come on with those goggles and that hair, I would like the shit out of this like button, bro.
Did you say Dijon?
No, Raymond. Come on, Raymond. Okay, so secondary entries. Now, remember, if you get the pump, okay, that's great. If you nibble around at these big support areas, you test these zones, you get the bounce, you're already ahead of the curve, okay? Then the next trade is the trend break. And you can see we've had a little trend break here on Peppy, and now this thing is churning higher. So now you're in your secondary or third type of trade that you're looking at the moment. So it doesn't mean it doesn't continue. Obviously, we're dialing in to 15 minutes here, but there could be tons happening. So what I would say here, Peppy, you want to just watch this type of flag here. And at an absolute stretch, you want to see 866 hold as your support. Okay, we don't really want to dip much lower than that. Maybe something along those lines for me on Pepe is what you want to be looking for. So multiple zeros, 866. Watch that area. That's going to be your main support. If that area holds, I would think the market is going to remain bullish here, and then this thing should start churning a little bit higher. You're looking for that range high play. That is as simple as it gets there. And just make sure when you get to this range high, that's your TP area. Even you want to front run this region, you want to jump out a little bit earlier there, and just make sure you bank something here, guys. Remember, this market is ridiculously choppy, and things are pretty wild out there at the moment. And this is exactly what I wanted to show you. And now it's happening. Okay, so 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, one of our legendary traders in the Sniper Club. We've got a whole team in there. Okay, and earlier this morning, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 called this render long on the Sniper Club live session we were doing with the members, and yeah, it's absolutely ripped. So now it's sitting at a resistance band. So let's just see what we've got. We've had an 8% pump here out of render. And what I was going to say, if you guys took this on Sniper Club earlier today, or if anyone is sitting in render at the moment, you can see this is why this was the TP zone. Okay, we've got 6.2. This is our resistance zone. This is your reaction zone. This is in fact your bearish zone. This is in fact your short zone. Ray, what's happening with BTC here? Is it okay? It seems okay. So far, so good. Okay, so what I want to give you on Render, we know there's a token switch. They're moving to Solana. Okay, so this might explain a ton of the reason as to why there's so much weakness on Render. Guys are offloading their Render because of uncertainty and fear and whatever the story is. And now we've had a nice little pump. But, Render overall, this is now at a TP zone. If you are trading this thing or you're holding this thing and your Render is sitting on an exchange, I think the answer is there's actually nothing to worry about. And I think it's just people selling out of uncertainty. But the exchanges will switch your tokens like for like. They'll do whatever needs to happen there. It's not like you're going to lose your tokens, but this is obviously causing a little bit of concern in the market. So Render traders, you are now at your TP zone 6.23. If you're trying to long Render now, just remember you are longing it into resistance. So the game plan, as usual, you've got to break this area, look for your consolidation, look for your support, then this thing can go. And remember, then we've got another trade coming. You've got the trend break trade, which could be around come Monday, Tuesday. If things remain bullish, we're going to be breaking that trend. And there's going to be a lot going on today. Khalib says, any trade for BitFunded today? Yes, I'm in Solana. Let's see. Is this thing still going? Yeah, it's a little bit flat now, but we're still green. Okay, so we're still green. And that is what we're in at the moment. So remember the story. You send, it's $99. Make sure you send the exact amount to the guys. If you send the wrong amount, then it doesn't load. Okay, so go to the link in the description, register. Use the link, my link in the show there to give you access to sign up for the thing. Okay, then it's $99. You get your $10,000 demo account, pass the test, 8%, then 5%, and then you get $10,000 that you can trade up to 5x with, and all for $100. But remember, be picky with your trades. Make sure that you are, not over trading here. You really want to get this right, and because you've got two chances, you've got to make 5%, 8%, and 5%. Okay, so just finishing on Render. 6.23 resistance zone. Break that. We're going to have some more fun. But, if you're in this trade, just de-risk a little bit here. You can see why. Okay, naturally, if this market pumps, it pumps. But you just want to be left with something. You saw me do a round trip on Sol. Okay, I don't like to see that happen to you guys, and it's not a vibe. Okay, so don't round trip your stuff. Okay, here's CAS on the daily, and major support 0.16. Okay, no issues here. Apparently, all is well according to Chaos. Everything is fine with the chain, and that thing will be up and running again. And remember, there was lots of bullish news behind CAS because they launched their chain. 𝗂𝗫20 went live, and then it all fell over. Okay, so everyone started selling this thing, and now we are back on huge support. So CAS traders, 0.16 is in play. And the other one I've got for you guys is Link. Okay, so this was the Link trade that I took yesterday, and you can see why I got stopped out. We actually lost our major support. So I wanted to tell you guys there is a secondary trade coming on Link where you can maybe make this one back. So yesterday we were looking for longs in this region here, and they sent it up, and what did they do? They sent us straight back down, and we lost that horizontal support. But look at this. They've now pushed it up, and now they're trying to reclaim this region. So I would say watch this 12.5 level. Okay, watch this region here. You could get a little nibble entry here, and then we could potentially get that move. So just play cautiously. You can see they lost the trend yesterday. We've now broken up. They're retesting. So there could be a Link long again. So the exact same Link long from yesterday with pretty much the same supports. And 12.5, give or take, would be your exit zone. And that's the tightest I can give you. Obviously, lower leverage traders, you're looking at 12.2, something along those lines. But the high leverage guys, you can use that wick from yesterday, those lows, something along these lines. Okay, so it can be super tight there, but just be careful. Okay, just nibble around, and remember, when these things off these hot zones, they start pushing on, you can nibble, then you break the trend. You can actually add to these positions, and you can start growing them relatively quickly. As long as the market's pushing, you'll be very surprised. You can take $1,000 position, and within a few pumps, you're sitting at a $5,000-$10,000 position quite quickly. And it's just a matter of patience. So just stoke the fire. You don't have to ape in super early on these trades, and let these things play out a little bit. Ray, anything interesting happening? I can't deal. Anything interesting happening there that you can see out in the market, sir?
Anything that you haven't covered? No, sir. The Lord of Entry has blessed us.
Okay, guys, so I've given you tons to work with here. Remember, just be careful. Wish me luck on these trades. Okay, I got stopped out again on ADA. I'm literally going to become an internet meme for ADA, so that's going to be interesting. But Okay, these are cooking. We'll see. ETH broken that 200-day. If we lose that 200-day on ETH, I'm going to cut these positions. And BTC, let me just tell you where I'm going to take profit on this BTC scalp. 58,380. 58,380. I'm going to exit BTC. Okay, so that is my game plan here for this current set of trades here on Prime XBT. Right, Ray, later. Guys, always fun. Yeah, great. I can't say enough. I love hanging out with you guys. I love sharing this shit with you. Good luck. You know the drill. Okay, you know what to do. See you later. I'm back on Sunday. Main channel. Later.